I've amassed a Pokemon card collection valued at approximately $25,000. Now, I did round up a little bit because not everything's in there, pre-orders, bunch of holos. Besides the point, I wanted to show you how I grew my portfolio, if you will, into what I consider to be a relatively decent amount. That way, it can maybe help you grow your collection, whether you're just starting out, or maybe you've had a bunch of cards laying around forever and you're just getting back into it, or whatever it may be. I wanted to show you how you can grow your collection and what I did to grow mine. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, yeah, of course your collection has grown tremendously over the past few months. The Pokemon card hobby has been booming. Well, yeah, you're right. That's the point. I've been collecting for a few years now as far as sealed product and singles, kind of like the back end of the Sword and Shield era. But that's the point. We have ups and downs, and that's why you're here. Whether you're new to the hobby or you're just now getting back into it from that era or before, you have a ton of old cards from when you were a kid. We've all been there. Now, I have been collecting Pokemon cards and playing my entire life. However, I did sell all of my collection back in March of 2021. I regret it a little bit, but hey, financial things happen. Everybody's situation is different, so I never blame anybody. You sell when you have to sell, basically, right? Or whatever it may be, whatever your situation is, it is what it is. But later that year, I actually started collecting again, and previously I never held on to sealed product. I wish I did, but I didn't. And I would have sold it anyways. Regardless, since the end of 2021, early 2022, I started holding on to a lot more sealed product. Now, you may be thinking, that was a few years ago. Yeah, it was. And this is going to take time for a lot of you. Not everyone has just disposable income that they can spend on Pokemon cards all the time. And that's okay. You get what I'm saying. If you can resist the urge to rip open your sealed product and you actually purchase it with the intent of it as an investment later on, it makes it a lot easier. I'm going to show you a little bit of the steps that I take, not only on the sealed side, but the single side as well. And I don't have a ton of graded cards, but I've recently started getting back into that. And that has potential for a lot too. I'm not super experienced on that, so I'm not going to touch on that. But I am going to talk to you about sealed product and singles and what I do and what I watch out for. Now, I'm going to get started by showing you my collector account. It has my sealed product, a ton of singles. I'm going to show you which products I purchased with the intent of them increasing, and I thought that they would increase. Of course, right now, it's easy to say, oh, I bought this, and it's skyrocketed now. But you have to know that sealed product with Pokemon, singles too, more fluctuate, but sealed product is always a good investment because it will go out of print eventually. And there's just a huge market for it, a ton of collectors, and it continues to grow. And I'm going to show you kind of what my thought process behind these things. And if you're not familiar with collector, like I said, it keeps track of your collection and it syncs up with like eBay and TCGplayer. And it's usually like pretty accurate in my experience, and it's getting better and better every day. You can add master sets at a time. You can add a ton of different things. It doesn't just have Pokemon. If you're here and you collect Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever it is, ton of TCGs, One Piece, right? A ton of them. I wanted to show you the sealed product first, and a lot of it has come from over just the past 2 years, actually. And like I said, I'm going to go over my thought process behind this stuff. 151 is pretty obvious. As soon as they announced this set, I was like, this is nostalgic. People are going to want this in the future. And the Pokemon Center ETBs, there's those ones that are exclusive. They have the Pokemon Center stamp on the box. They usually are designed a little bit different. Not always, but since the Scarlet and Violet era, they've also had the promo with the Pokemon Center stamp inside as well. So, of course, this one's pretty easy to predict. Of course, as you can see, even back less than 6 months after its release, this set came out in September of 2023, and it was already up 50%. Scarlet and Violet era started pricing their ETBs at $59.99. A lot of things increased with the Scarlet and Violet era, going from the yellow to silver borders, improving quality. But as you can see, obviously, it has gone up steadily even before this big boom. And now we're approaching the $400 mark, which is great. And again, Scarlet 151, ton of nostalgia there. There's people that are my age, maybe a little older, maybe a little younger, that have kids as well, and are showing them the original 151. They're collecting it together. They're getting master sets. I also have the master set of 151. Aside from like the super expensive, like Asia exclusive cards and the Pokemon Professor cards, they're just way out of my price range. But for the most part, the master set, I think there's literally like a handful of cards I don't have. And that's another thing. Like, I want to hold that, but eventually my intent is to sell it. It's going to be tough. Maybe not. I don't know. That's all future Dylan's problem. But I also have an ultra premium collection. Same thing, 151. I have pretty much almost one of everything from 151. Somehow I don't have a booster bundle, but I'll talk about that later. And how I'm going to obtain them. And once you have some value too, and you have duplicates, you can trade and trade with friends, join a community, right? That really helps you get more involved and get what you want when you have something worth value that you can just exchange for. Even if you don't have a duplicate, if someone really wants something that you have, and you really want something they have, pretty close value, you can just swap. It works out really nice. Okay, so a lot of this stuff, like I said, came out very recently over the past 2 years, but as you can see, Surging Sparks Booster Box, Prismatic Evolutions, ETB's Prismatic is crazy right now. These two sets have really driven up the market and interest in the set. I think a lot of people missed out on Evolving Skies and kind of had FOMO for Prismatic, which, hey, makes sense. Evolution, if you're not familiar with Evolving Skies, it's crazy. The set is crazy. It has the Moonbryon, has all the evolutions, Rayquaza, the Dragonite. I'm sure I've missed a few, but has all those cards. And so people did not want to miss out on this, which created a huge demand and not enough supply, essentially skyrocketing the market. But it's interesting to think about this product specifically because this was up for pre-order on November 1st on the Pokemon Center website. And it was up for hours. Initially had a limit of 4, and then they dropped it to a limit of 2, but it was still up for hours. I was lucky enough to order 6 of them. Now, I did trade 2 of them to a buddy or a Surging Sparks booster box that you see right here. A really close friend of mine, and we have been doing this together for years. We started playing competitively together in 2019. I'm getting off topic here, but that's what I mean is you can develop friendships and communities that to help each other out because he missed out on the Prismatic Evolutions ETBs. And so that is just an obvious one to me. It has Eevee, all the evolutions. The case is literally worth $1,000 right now, essentially, which is just nuts. And you see products like these other evolution products. I have one of each of the VMAX premium collection boxes. The Flareon is right here next to the Jolteon. And as you can see, I do have a lot of Pokemon Center ETBs because they have that stamp and they are worth more than regular ETBs for obvious reasons, as we've discussed. And so I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Silver Tempest booster box. It's kind of crazy that this is about $240. It might be more now. Okay, it's a little dip, but I bought it from the Pokemon Center website before it sold out. I'm going to touch on this a little bit after I kind of show off the collection a little bit. If you see stuff that is kind of older on the Pokemon Center website, you should buy it, especially if it has a lot of good cards in the set. And that's just things, if you're newer, that you'll learn over time. You'll start to understand what cards people will want, what Pokemon people will want, which helps out a lot. There's obviously the Lugia V in this set. There's Regidrago in this set. It's mainly the Lugia, but it does have some other good cards in it. Now, same thing here with Obsidian Flames. I bought a couple booster boxes of this. I opened one, saved one. It has Charizard, has Pidgeot, has the Gloom, has the Ninetales. Just a lot of iconic Pokemon. And with this set, the pull rates were extremely good. A lot of people pulled the Charizard, and that kind of hurt the value at first. But again, over time, it's always going to go up. There's going to be new people coming into the hobby. There's going to be people re-entering the hobby. There's going to be people growing up from kids that are getting into the hobby. You get what I'm saying. Just kind of rambling here sometimes. But even Paldean Fates, pretty much I've ordered in Scarlet and Violet over the past year 2 to 4 of the ETBs. So half a case to a case of the Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs because they just always increase in value. And you could have gotten a lot of these instantly. Like even the 151 ETBs restocked and were up for days. Can you believe that? They were up for days. It's because no one was showing any interest like they are today. But they were. You can only say I wish I would have bought more, but it is what it is. Some of them I only have one of because I I still love opening packs and ripping cards, right? Like who or ripping packs, not ripping the cards. Please don't do that. Anyways, just kind of showing you a few different things. Some things don't work out immediately, right? And that's typically the case. Right now is a huge exception. This happens every couple of years, I would say. Now, these Charizard EX Super Premium Collection boxes, I've touched on this on the channel as well as the podcast, which reminds me, if you haven't checked out the podcast, I'll drop a link in the description. It's super new. It's me and that buddy I was telling you about. Me and Danny were co-hosting. It's called Packs to Profit. And we kind of go over very similar topics. We drop a new episode every Tuesday at 7 a.m. Eastern. So make sure to check that out as well. But like I said, I've mentioned this Charizard EX Super Premium Collection box there as well as on my channel before. This reminds me of the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection that dipped to, it was like retailed at 120, dipped to 90 forever, just like the 151 UPC. This retails at MSRP is 80, but you can get it pretty much anywhere for 60. And then once they stop making this, I guarantee you this is going to be a $150, $200 box later this year or maybe next year. Again, this is an investment. You have to be patient here. This is, if you're here to get rich quick, this isn't going to happen. Like those things don't exist really. They just don't. And once you realize that, the better off you'll be, and you'll be able to hold off on ripping a ton of packs and just learn patience. And not only that, this box has promos from 151, which is a huge nostalgic set. Like I said, I have the master set. A ton of people have collected it. There's going to be probably people that enter the hobby in the future that want to collect it as well. And those boxes are going to be required, or those promos are going to be required. So those are things to like think about, because there's other products you can buy right now too that I'm not personally buying. A, I don't have money to buy anything I want, but B, be strategic, be smart. Like anything with Charizard. It may seem obvious, but hey, I'm just trying to prove, because I don't have a ton of people on the channel. I just started uploading this kind of content. So if you made it to this point, I can get real with you. And I'd love it if you could subscribe and check out some of the other videos. But I'm trying to provide value for you, kind of show proof. I used to make shiny hunting content, which I love shiny hunting. I love all things Pokemon. Okay. And that kind of sizzled off. I used to stream the card game. It's just this right here, I'm super passionate about. I love collecting singles and sealed product, especially now. I have a few things of Prismatic, ton of Crown Zenith, some celebrations. And you can see all of this definitely starting to pay off now. But at the time, sometimes it dips. And it's just like the stock market. You have to be patient. And these things will increase. And I am expecting a huge dip. Not a huge dip, but at least a decent sized dip in the near future, probably later on this year. But hey, we'll see. Maybe not. 151 stuff, loose packs. Because what happens too is Pokemon will have a ton of extra loose product, and they'll just kind of put together these random boxes with older sets that they just have a ton of laying around. And those things you can open, keep the sealed packs, like Cosmic Eclipse. That's how I gained a couple of these. Even though I played during this time, like I said, I wasn't really a collector at that time as far as sealed product. Evolving Skies, never bad to have those. The same thing. That's what this is from. I didn't open up much Evolving Skies, actually. I didn't start collecting again until basically 2022. It was very late 21. And I got back into playing. The Evolving Skies were in random tins, random boxes that you could buy. And I've picked up Fates Collide just at local stores. And these are just things that I see. It has $10 sticker on it. Check TCGplayer. They're selling for, around 12 to 15, just depending. I'm like, okay, I'll pick it up. Because I know over time, these cards are going to increase in value because they don't make them anymore. It's just kind of the strategy. A lot of older packs down here. Recent Sun Moon, XY, even Celebrations, Sword and Shield. We've seen a lot of growth over Sword and Shield because of the alternate arts. Crown Zenith is the last yellow border set, and it has the Galarian Gallery, so there's going to be just a lot of value there. prize packs. If you play competitively, when you go to leagues, you can hold on to them or rip them, right? I've ripped a ton of them. And so you can see I have a lot of packs here. And of course, that's the smaller value, but it all adds up. That's the point. If you want to grow your collection, you want to grow your personal collection, it takes time to invest in this stuff if you don't have a ton of resources. Now I'm going to move on to the singles. Now, this is interesting because you can really predict, because you can buy certain singles specifically, and you can predict which ones are going to increase over time and wait maybe for booms. Now, this is, I'm not saying to buy out stuff because, again, not everybody has resources for that, including myself. Like buy out cheap cards, for example. It depends on what you consider cheap, right? I consider cheap under $10, maybe under 20. But again, not everybody can purchase those. Everybody has a different value, what they consider cheap. This card right here is a great example. It was from that Charizard Ultra Premium collection that was $90 at one point. And this card you could have bought for under $5 very consistently, even for a few dollars in the day. If you would have bought 10 of these, you know, if you're spending $50 on 10, let's just say at $5 a piece, and it has increased to, this says $17.38. So let's just call this $15. Just a year ago, you would have tripled your money at this point. So that's just something to consider. Charizard's always going to be a banger. Charizard promos, especially awesome artwork like that one. The Squirtle from Pokemon Center. You got this when you all ordered an Ultra Premium collection, I think, from Pokemon Center. It's the only way to get the Squirtle with the Pokemon Center stamp, which is part of the 151 Master Set. So it's just things like that. Okay, like, let me buy a couple of these. And again, I know it all depends on your resources and your funds to do this stuff. And I've opened up a ton of 151, a ton of Crown Zenith. That's how we completed the Galarian Gallery, the 151 Master Set. You know, partially open and stuff. You ultimately have to buy cards you're missing, and over time will definitely keep more money in your pocket instead of just opening packs. But hey, I know some people like to chase their master sets, and if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just telling you what I do and how I have gained a collection at this value. I actually recently just picked up this Charizard. Now, I have it I'm going to get it graded. I think it's going to come back like a 5, maybe a 6, but I didn't. The only thing negative about collectors, they don't have a value for conditions, or at least I haven't found it. So I just kind of put in what I thought it would be. Same thing with this Pikachu Gray Felt hat, right? This was a free card that they gave just for ordering from the Pokemon Center. Now, if you were around, I think this was, summer of 23 as well. Super hard to obtain though. And this card has, let me show you the chart on this card. It was up around, it was higher than this. I think it was over 150, but even so, dipped back under 100, around $80. If you can swing one or two of them, great. Because this card is a promo that is an awesome artist. If you look at the history of other art piece cards, like the Scream cards, those cards all sell now for hundreds, maybe more if they're graded. And go Pikachu, okay, that's probably going to do the same thing over time. If you can play the long game, you will be successful with this. What are some other cards we want to talk about? This card, Starmie V. We have like 4 copies of this. Look at how cheap this was back a year ago. It was even cheaper than that. It was like a $30 card. This came out in Astral Radiance, so May of 2022. $40 pre-sale, I think it was, and it dipped. Like I said, it was probably $25, $30 card. Now, over time, boom. I don't think you will ever see this card below its previously as of 60. If anything, this card's going to continue to rise because this is a card you can look at. It's a full art. It's an alternate art Starmie V with Misty. The artwork is amazing. Just things like that. Now this card is pretty unique too. This is part of the 151 Master Set, and they did this like pop-up shop thing over in Europe, And the only way you could get that is if you went to this pop-up shop. So my buddy and I both ordered a set from the UK for $100 for, there's an Eevee one as well. As you can see right here, it says Pokemon Together. It's kind of hard to see that, but this card has gone down. You could get this around this time for $13. The reason being is because the Pokemon Center on the US side started giving these away for free if you bought certain products. A ton of sealed product, which included these. They were giving them away for free. Same thing with a Van Gogh Pikachu. Same thing with that Squirtle. So these are just things to think about for the future if you can swing it. I'm probably going to sell a couple of these because I again, you have to, at least for me, I have to continue to get funds, and it helps by trading or selling for other cards I want in this collection, or for my own collection. So if I don't want 4 copies of the Pikachu and the Eevee, I can sell 2, keep 1 for the master set, 1 for maybe future value, and then get some other stuff, whatever it may be. I wanted to kind of show off, let's scroll down a bit to some of the trainer gallery stuff from Brilliant Stars through Silver Tempest. So all the sets that had V-Stars and came out in 2022, including, I guess, Crown Zenith, which came out in January of 2023. Most of them are around the $10 to $20 range. I wanted to show the Mew. This Mew is a great example. If you're trying to make money while also enjoying the hobby and collecting, if that's your goal, look for stuff like this. This Mew was even cheap. This card was $2 or $3 after Crown Zenith came out. $2 or $3. So if you would, again, just take $20, $25, bought 10, 15 copies, you know what I mean? You could sell 10 of them right now for 200 and you invested 20. Again, you can't always predict these things, but you can get pretty good at it. There's a ton, like this Gengar, same thing. It was a $2 card. I'm not even going to click on it. Just please trust me at this point. Gengar. Let me see if Charizard is in here too. There's the Charizard right here. Trainer gallery, same thing. These all have massive gains in the long run. If you'd have, this card was $1. The Gengar was $1. A lot of these cards were so cheap, and it pays off eventually during the boom. This Greninja was a less than $1 card, I want to say. Let's see how cheap this thing was. $1. We'll call it $1. Whatever. You could have bought 100 of these for $100 and now hold until right now. And maybe sell 20 of them, keep the other, you know what I mean, 80, or 5 years from now. It's a long game. Once these things go out of print, they're always going to go up. Something me and my buddy Danny have been talking about for years, and now we have the evidence and the proof to show it. I just want to connect with other people that are into the hobby, into the community, and help whoever I can by giving them advice. But anyway, I'm not going to go through any more cards. I've rambled long enough. Now let me actually show you kind of what I do. Now, right now is a weird time because you can't find product anywhere. For the most part, you can get lucky and hit restocks. So I do stop at stores, at least when I know that things aren't this crazy. I'll stop in, just kind of see what they got. If they have something that I'm like, ooh. One time I stopped at Walmart. They usually have 2 sections. You know what I'm talking about, right by the self-checkouts. And then by the toys, they also have cards. I went back there because there wasn't much up front, and they had a couple 151 just regular ETBs. You just never know. This was last year at some point, early last year, but a few things here or there if you can afford it. And it'll help you out a lot in the long run for your collection, if that's your goal. Now, like I said, Pokemon is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Never has been, never will be. Right now is the exception, but even that's going to die off. So as long as you're in it for the long haul, do the things you should be doing. Also recommend, so basically what I wanted to show you was Twitter accounts that literally post when things are restocked. A lot of times this may be like the second or third notification. They might post in their Discord. You can join Discord servers. There's paid services to get updates for things quicker. For emails on all the big box retailers like Target, Walmart, GameStop, you know what I mean? Sign up for that stuff. And that's mainly for right now because it's so hard to, like I'll get a notification on Twitter and not even literally go to the post and people are already commenting out of stock. I'm like, holy crap. And so we were even seeing prismatic tins at Hot Topics randomly. Like, it's just like good to know that stuff. I would have never stopped at Hot Topic. I know that in the past I've seen Pokemon cards there, but I'm not thinking about that when it's this crazy right now. And it got kind of also just get updates with news and stuff, which is really nice. But yeah, I just thought this was kind of a useful resource of information. If you're not on X, get on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Follow some of these accounts to keep you up to date, just in case, because sometimes they'll post something and things sell out immediately. Other times they're up for a little bit and they'll even repost it like, hey, these are still available. So just to recap, you can do a lot of different things, whether it's just looking out for specific sets or specific cards that could increase over time. It's kind of like I showed you. Use resources like Discord, Twitter, anything like that to increase the chance that you will find product, especially right now where everything is sold out. And you will develop a collection over time. And now I'm at the point where I kind of want to start trading some of this stuff, selling some of it in order to, buy new product or to get other things I want for my own personal collection. And these things, they do take time. You gotta be patient. I mean, that I'm just being transparent with you. There's last time I'm going to say it. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's Pokemon. It's Pokemon cards. It's a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be things people do because they enjoy it. So I'm just going to wrap up things here. If you are still watching this video, you're an absolute legend. You might as well go ahead and subscribe because you can always take it back later if you don't like my future content. But watch out for future videos. I did just start a video series where I will be uploading every week. It's called 10 cards under $10. So I'm going to basically kind of scout cards that I think are worth investing in for the future. And it's going to vary between different types of cards, illustration rares, vintage cards, EXs, GXs, you name it. Anything under $10. There'll be 10 of them every week, and we'll recap at the end of the month. So I really appreciate you being here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.